Hello, Igor.
Hello, Judith.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Great to meet you. I love the shirt.
Thank you so much. It's nice to have you with us today.
Thank you.
So you're the co-founder of the Lisa Foundation. Can you explain to us what is the Lisa Foundation?
Okay, so Lisa Foundation is a very exciting platform. This is the platform that allows us to do something good, and good in public sphere. We focus on fine art, and we focus on museums. So they're very important, museums, for us as a society. And oftentimes you hear that they have no funding, or we have no money. Whereas we say, look, you actually have quite a bit of money. You have a lot of value that's stored in paintings. And only if we could help museums somehow use that, the funding that's locked in those paintings. And in the past, there were a lot of conversations how we can help them do that, but there was no tech. So lucky for us, Web3, blockchain is here, and that allows us to fractionalize anything, really. But when we talk about art, you can do this with art fairly easily and straightforward. And, art in general is a fantastic investment. It has been proven to be a very valid, very good investment over time. The problem has always been that to invest into good art, people need to have, you have to have $1 million and up. And again, blockchain allows us to lower that threshold, and with $20 you can invest into a painting, or maybe invest in multiple, and then enjoy this as this market grows. So there's a secondary market where you can trade NFTs, you can trade things that log that value, and Lisa Foundation allows you to do that. So we democratize art. We're saying we're freeing up art on one hand, but on the other hand, we allow people to participate in this market and help museums either raise money for restoration projects that they might have, or to acquire new art, and really engage audiences.
So if I understand well, so what do you allow us to do? For instance, if I want to buy an NFT from a painting, from La Joconde, for instance, I can buy a tiny piece of it, metaphorically, and then this money goes to the museum.
Correct.
Is it how it works?
Yes, absolutely. So this is really, if you think about this, this is a crowdfunding, but in Web3, where you can do much more. You're right. Like, you can own a piece of a painting. You're not gonna put a painting in your living room or in a kitchen. It's like paper money. It's if you think about this, when people invest into oil or gold, they don't have a barrel of oil in their living room. They buy paper representation. So Web3 allows us to have that with anything. Really, like, again, we're talking about art, but you can think about anything, from buildings, roads, bridges, anything, and can be and will be on Web3, on blockchain.
Which museums in France do you collaborate with?
So this is a tricky question. As you know, France is a wonderful country, fantastic, and I actually, part-time, I live now in Paris as well. French are very pragmatic also. They don't want to be the very first ones. They want to see what happens, and things are there. So we talk with all the major museums, and they're fantastic people, great professionals, very passionate about what they do. And what's encouraging, that they are looking out. They know they cannot afford to sit and not do anything about this. So there's a constant conversation. There are things that museums are participating actively and monitoring things. But again, we're talking about some serious art where they don't want to commit necessarily, and that's okay. We've been there before. We know that this is a new frontier. But me coming from the background of tech companies, again, it's a déjà vu. We've been there, we've done that, and we know the positive outcome.
What was the first NFT you bought?
God.
If you can remember,
No,
or
no,
one of the
no.
first.
Let's not talk. Let's not go there. And again, NFTs are wonderful. That don't. There's a lot of negative connotation now. Like people feel that this is overused or this is speculative. We need to encourage people to, see the good in this and really participate. And there's much more. There are more opportunities, and really, today we're talking about the students and young people being involved in this, and there's nothing but opportunities. Again, if you're looking to smartly invest in your time, look no further. Like there are tons of programs. There's lots of information out there. Just start small, but really, jobs are being created out of thin air, and they're very real. These are actual careers you can develop. You can invest in yourself first of all.
Yeah, as you just said, it's interesting. It might be interesting when you discover a whole new world such as Web3 to start small. What would be a nice way to discover this world or learn more? Where would you start? Would you advise someone to start?
Okay, well, interesting, but there's tons of resources. I mean, if you type on YouTube, there are a few very good channels. I can give you later. You can put like in a video as a link. There are a few resources that are fairly well done, where you go in and it's in a condensed form. They give you some basics, but I need to comment. Actually, France being one of the better markets where the government is trying to encourage people. There's quite a bit of activity, and you've created this mini ecosystem that will support you. And in Paris, in particular, I know there are events and there are small groups, and there are things that are not even being advertised. But if you look around, if you're serious about this, again, just ask anyone, and I'd be surprised if you wouldn't find something that's available.
Before working into the art world, you created a company called Press Reader. Can you tell us about this?
Yes. So this is actually, thank you for asking. This is another example where, we were about 20 years ago. We started a company called Press Reader, where we were thinking of sort of being an aggregator before anything existed, before Netflix existed. We came up with an idea, $9.95, all you can read. And you don't subscribe to a paper, you come into a system, and you have whatever. We had a few papers, and I remember my first trips here, where the French publishers would look at us like we were crazy. 20 years forward, it's the largest company of its kind. It's a group of companies now, and we're everywhere. If you look at, if you travel with airlines, if you're staying at thousands of hotels. Libraries, cruise ships, you name it. There's no more print. They're replacing this, but they're giving you much more. There's a value. It's not just one paper, but it's a quality resource, whether you are a fashionista or whatever. But the point here is that at that time, it was also seen as a crazy something. People didn't understand, and we were a group of enthusiasts. There were I remember 20 of us. Now it's hundreds of people having real jobs, having their mortgages, and depending on this. And these are very well-paid jobs, and it's an industry now that's affecting millions of people. Like I said, the pattern is the same. Be with it, tech. Try to do something that did not exist before. And
so would you say it's a good sign to be seen as crazy, or to be in the field that nobody understands?
Absolutely. I mean, the crazier the better. No. Yeah, we've heard it all, but but the important thing is, do you believe in that? Do you like it, and do you find it interesting and challenging? Because when magic happens, when you actually find same crazy people like you, passionate, right? Not crazy, passionate, and. Again, things start to happen. We like to say that nothing is random. Things happen for a reason. They really do happen for a reason. Like you meet someone, you start talking about things. I've met in the last few months here in Paris people that I didn't think they existed, these people, but it's so cool. The conversations you're having with them lead you to more ideas and more doors opening up. So yes, go out, talk to people, just start talking. If you have an idea, start talking. Like there's another crazy someone who will support you, and hopefully, again, something
What did you study?
I studied a few things in my life. Anything from linguistic studies to my last degree was in. I did my master's degree in political science at the University of British Columbia, and you know, remember, education is. You don't like. I don't remember what I studied necessarily, as most of us, but what you learn, you learn the skills and the jobs of today, the jobs of tomorrow. What they need the skills. Like you know, these jobs that we're creating today, they don't exist yet. But when we look to hire people, we're looking at a set of skills that I know I can take a person and we can shape them, but we give them an opportunity. We don't want to babysit anyone. We want people that step up, they own this, and they run with this, and they'll do much more than what you have in your mind. So they need just proper support. But yeah, education allows you to have those skills, develop skills, whether you're working with information or communication skills, design, whatever. But
It's interesting. You said you studied linguistics and political science. So no, you didn't study tech at all, or nothing.
no, that's you see, that's another thing. You don't think that you have to be a techie. Things come up. If you believe in something, you have an idea, you know, put it out, and you'll see tech people will come to you. It's a paradox. You know, you have a lot of people who are brilliant, but they might not necessarily be good in, you know, creativity or business development, and that's fine because this is what you want. You want them to be great tech people. You want to have great designers, and in Web3 it's especially important. Like Lisa Foundation, we're very proud of our design team. Brilliant people, because in Web3, as you know, the user experience is a challenge, right? Like it's not straightforward. Like if you're trying to interact with certain things, you're prompted to, you know, open a wallet and do whatever. So user experience is paramount. You want to have the top of the crop with designers. So tech, you know, business development, partnerships, like these are all very important parts, and you want the best people doing their best job, and then, you know.
How many people work at the Lisa Foundation
So
today?
Lisa Foundation, we started 3 co-founders last May. We are 12 people strong now and growing. And again, shout out to our team and you know, our design team, for instance, the guy who leads it. We like to brag about him, Ilya, who's won not one Cannes Lions. He has 4 to his name. And he comes again with his team that are part of Lisa Foundation. We're very proud of them.
When you look to hire someone, what are the qualities you're looking for?
Great question. So when we hire someone, first of all, again, we want passionate people, because as I mentioned, that, you know, you want people who you don't have to look over their shoulder. You want to empower people. The pace of innovation is such that you can't sit there. You have to run. You have to constantly release things. You have to, like, every week you have to kind of monitor what's happening, but you can't do this yourself. No matter what, if you have the original idea, bring people that will help you build that and grow. Yeah, you want self-starters. You want people who are independent, who are passionate, and once they feel that they have their freedom, again, magic happens. So yeah, look for those.
As you mentioned earlier, something is really important. I think it's like the pace of innovation is going faster and faster. How do you yourself stay up to date?
You know what? Actually, the best tip I'll tell you is talking to people. So if you're in a certain area in industry, I mean, conferences are great. And you probably notice in Paris as well, you had a few, even in the past few months, where you go in, people don't even go sometimes to the sessions, but they congregate out and they talk, and it's the best. I found for myself, networking is always best. You also meet people of companies that might not necessarily be known. They work in a stealth mode, or you know, whatever they choose to do, but it's one of the best, for me personally, one of the best sources of information and introductions, which are also very important in Web3.
Just to go back to the Lisa Foundation, maybe one last question. Is there a famous work of art, of piece of art? We know that you've been, I don't know what's the correct term, selling as in NFTs. I don't know how you would describe it, so we can get a concrete idea of what you do.
Well, because Lisa Foundation is still a young company, we haven't released yet publicly anything. But
Okay.
again, this is something we will be announcing. We work, obviously, we want to work with something that people can relate to, where the emotional element is important to us, where people invest into something that they believe or they feel strongly about. Remember when Notre Dame burned down the roof? Remember how quickly people collected $1 billion for restoration. And at the same time, we had Amazon burning, and it was, 20 million people collected like in 3 months. So, you know, if we can invoke that emotional sense of connecting to a piece of art, that's what's going to happen. And this is where we hope museums can work directly with their supporters. And it doesn't matter. It could be Paris or it could be Timbuktu. There's always something that museums bring. As I said, they're fundamental to us as society. So let's see if Web3 can help us do something great for them and with them.
Thank you very much, Igor. Is there any questions from the audience?
If I may, due to the fact that it's quite a new technology in day and age, was it difficult to present it to investors? Because I presume that not everybody yet understands the value of NFTs.
The question is, thank you for the question. The question is whether, because it's a new tech, is it difficult to pitch to investors? And the answer is yes and no, because yes, you don't pitch Web3 to traditional investors. Web3 is about a change, a fundamental change, and the kind of investors Lisa Foundation is looking for. I mean, money is easy to come around, but you know, you want to be smart about the money and the kind of investor you want to bring in. These are people who would be sharing your vision. These are people who understand the profound change that companies in Web3 trying to do. So, I mean, I think companies in Web3, they can afford to be picky, and that's what's happening.
What you're saying is that the art and museum industry is at the edge of a new era that's going to be technology. Do you think I can work in art and museums by studying technology?
Thank you. Great question, and especially seeing the kind of things that are happening today. Absolutely. So the museums and art, as you're saying, they are at this frontier of change. They cannot afford not to be part of it. That's one. So this is what we see, whether they like it or not. And I'm glad to see that they actually like it. They want to do something. So absolutely, this is happening, but that spells opportunities. So either people who work today in museums or galleries or in that area, they acquire new skills, and this is happening. It's not either or, it's and. They're doing that, but also opportunities for people to come in, and there will be more jobs. Lisa Foundation is trying to tell museums, don't let your staff go, because some museums, we know, they cut jobs because of funding, whatever. What we're saying, Web3 can bring you additional money. We can fund a new research. Look for those people who graduated, that did PhD in whatever. You bring them in. You want to do more research. You want to become a center of culture and innovation. We're helping museums rediscover, re-establish themselves, and reaffirm their role that they're playing, a very important role. So yeah, jobs are abound. They are being created as we speak. And yeah, I can only encourage people to seek, and you know, if you're a historian at heart, or a designer or whatever, if you feel that this is interesting to you, pursue it, go after it, you know, you'll be good. Yeah. Yes, so the question is, as NFT being a new form of medium, Is there pushback from museums, from art collectors? And yes, so we've seen things happening in the market where, because of different models that have been introduced, people trying to experiment. Some of those experiments aren't financially either profitable, or they're seen as scams, or they're seen as manipulation and whatnot. It's like any other new technology. You have to try and understand what's happening. But again, to the credit of those museums and collectors, they're not just, most of them, they're not writing this off. We're all looking at this as something that is a necessary evil that's happening. It's okay, like you want to have that. So yeah, there is some reluctance, but I think the benefits are outweighing the negative. So it's not going to go anywhere. That this is here to stay. The more companies like Lisa Foundation that exist on the market, the better. I think we're all pushing things. And if you think about even 6 months before, last year, 2 years ago, where we were, where we are now, right? So, no, again, look at the new jobs. Look at this is an industry that's being created in front of our eyes. So, it's exciting time. Buckle up.
Thank you very much, Igor. Thanks
Thank you,
very
Judith.
much.